James Madison, architect of liberty and the fourth President of the United States.
But before we start, please support us by pressing like and subscribe buttons. Also turn on the bell notification to get the latest updates. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you.
In the gentle hills of Port Conway, Virginia, on March 16, 1751, a child was born who would shape the very fabric of a young republic. James Madison, destined to become the fourth President of the United States, entered the world on a tobacco plantation under the watchful eye of a prosperous planter family. Raised in the fertile region of Orange County, Madison's early life was marked not by grandeur but by an intellectual fire that would define his contributions to a fledgling nation. From an early age, Madison displayed an insatiable appetite for learning. His education began at home under tutors before he was sent to a boarding school and, eventually, to the College of New Jersey, now known as Princeton University. There, he studied Latin, Greek, philosophy, and the Enlightenment ideals that would later guide his political thought. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Madison did not seek military glory during the American Revolution. Instead, he wielded the pen as his sword and reason as his armor. Returning to Virginia after college, Madison became involved in local politics, aligning himself with the cause of American independence. His intellect and quiet determination earned him the trust of fellow revolutionaries. In 1776, he was elected to the Virginia Convention, where he helped draft the Virginia Constitution. It was during this period that Madison formed a lifelong friendship and political alliance with Thomas Jefferson. Madison's political career truly ascended in the 1780s, when he served in the Continental Congress. The war for independence was won, but the newly freed colonies were struggling under the Articles of Confederation. Madison, disillusioned by the inefficiency of the government, saw the urgent need for a stronger central authority. He began preparing for what would become one of the most significant events in American history, the Constitutional Convention of 1787. It was there, in the sweltering heat of Philadelphia, that Madison came to be known as the father of the Constitution. Though the convention was filled with fiery debate and diverse opinions, Madison's ideas laid the groundwork for a balanced government. His Virginia plan proposed a strong federal structure with a system of checks and balances. More than anyone else, Madison understood the danger of tyranny, whether from a monarch or a majority. Following the convention, Madison turned his energy toward persuading the states to ratify the new Constitution. Alongside Alexander Hamilton and John Jay, he penned a series of essays known as the Federalist Papers, writing nearly a third of them himself. These essays remain a cornerstone of American political philosophy and reveal the depth of Madison's understanding of human nature and governance. Though a strong advocate for federal authority, Madison soon recognized the need for additional protections for individual liberties. Yielding to public pressure and his own evolving views, he introduced the Bill of Rights in the First Congress in 1789, 10 amendments that would ensure fundamental freedoms for all citizens. In the 1790s, Madison found himself at odds with the very federal power he had helped create. The Federalist Party, led by Alexander Hamilton, championed a broad interpretation of the Constitution and a strong national bank. Madison, alongside Jefferson, opposed these moves, fearing centralized power could erode states' rights and individual freedoms. Together, they formed the Democratic-Republican Party, a precursor to modern American political factions. By 1801, his close friend Thomas Jefferson assumed the presidency, and Madison served as his Secretary of State. For 8 years, he navigated international diplomacy and domestic policies with a quiet resolve. One of the most notable episodes during this time was the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States and opened vast territories to exploration and settlement. In 1809, Madison ascended to the presidency, inheriting a nation caught between European superpowers. Britain and France were at war, and both nations routinely violated American neutrality by seizing ships and impressing sailors. Madison tried to maintain peace through economic pressure, enacting trade restrictions like the Non-Intercourse Act, but these efforts failed to deter British aggression. The tensions culminated in the War of 1812, a conflict Madison reluctantly asked Congress to declare. The war exposed America's military weaknesses and deeply divided the nation. British forces invaded Washington, D.C. in 1814, setting fire to the Capitol and the White House. Madison was forced to flee the capital, becoming the only sitting president to face a direct enemy assault on the seat of government. Despite these humiliations, the war ended in what many Americans saw as a triumph. The Treaty of Ghent, signed in December 1814, restored pre-war boundaries, and the Battle of New Orleans, fought after the treaty due to slow communication, gave the nation a surge of patriotic pride. Though Madison's presidency had been marred by war and internal strife, it marked a turning point in the assertion of American sovereignty. His second term also witnessed the rechartering of the National Bank, an ironic move considering his earlier opposition. But Madison had grown pragmatic with experience. He realized that a unified national economy required stable financial institutions, especially after the disruptions caused by war. As he left office in 1817, Madison returned to his estate, Montpelier, in Virginia. He remained politically active in his retirement, advising successors and writing about constitutional issues. He corresponded with Jefferson and later John Adams, reflecting on the revolution they had shaped and the government they had built. In his later years, Madison became president of the University of Virginia, continuing his lifelong devotion to education and Enlightenment principles. Though his health began to fail, his mind remained sharp. He often revisited the principles of the Constitution, emphasizing that liberty required eternal vigilance and an informed citizenry. James Madison passed away on June 28, 1836, at the age of 85. He was the last surviving signer of the Constitution. His death marked the end of an era, the passing of the revolutionary generation that had turned colonies into a nation. Madison never sought personal glory, nor did he dominate the political stage with charisma. Instead, he worked behind the scenes, crafting the very ideas that would give life to American democracy. He left behind no grand monuments or military victories, but his legacy lives in the foundational texts and enduring institutions of the United States. In the careful balance of powers, the guarantee of rights, and the structure of government, Madison's fingerprints are indelible. Though often overshadowed by his more flamboyant peers, Madison remains one of the most profound thinkers to hold the presidency. He approached power with humility, intellect, and an unwavering belief in Republican ideals. In a world of strongmen and monarchs, Madison proved that a quiet, principled statesman could change the course of history with ideas more powerful than armies. Thus, the legacy of James Madison endures, not just in the office he held, but in the Constitution he helped shape, the freedoms he helped secure, and the republic he helped preserve.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.